Alright, this is the third episode of Sugar and Cigarettes, and we will be starting off, as always, at the top of the order with tabletop games.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Jesse.
And I'm Tylar, and we will start off with Jesse's fancy new, I don't know how new it is, system that he found.
I'm not particularly sure how new it is either. I didn't bother to check the date.
Alright, so what's it called?
It's the Mistborn Adventure, Mistborn Tabletop Adventures.
With Mistborn or Mist?
Mistborn, like fog.
Oh,
Gotcha.
Mist. I was like, is this going to be like the game Mist? Because then I don't want to play. But continue.
So basically, it's a tabletop adventure game based off on a book series by my favorite author, Brandon Sanderson. Mm-hmm. And I really enjoyed the books, and I really enjoyed D&D, so when I heard that he had made a tabletop game, I thought, hey, this is going to be pretty interesting. I'm not so certain anymore after taking a look at it.
Yeah, you were saying earlier when we were getting ready that it's pretty
Basic.
pretty new person friendly, which isn't a bad thing.
Baby's first tabletop?
This is what a six-sided dice is.
There's the one that's a cube.
And, in case anybody has never played an RPG before, or
At the
never
same
read a book before.
At the same time, it might be a good starting point for people who want to play tabletop games.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you know anything about the gameplay of it? Like, how it works at all?
It seems to be kind of like Numenera, I believe, where it was just in the D6, just based off D6 rolls. And besides that, it's not so much a game, more than a group storytelling effort.
So it seems more like
very narrative driven.
It sounds more like Tenor Advance Zero
or Fellowship.
Golden Skies, those kinds of things.
Well,
Which they're becoming more popular.
Yeah.
Those kinds of tabletops, because people are realizing that the fun of most of the fun in the tabletop games, when you're not playing with random people, is in the storytelling. Because with your random people, you might not mesh as well.
Yep.
When you're with your friends shooting the shit.
Yeah, I think that would be how way back when D&D first started, you would go down to the comic store and you never knew who was going to be there, so it was always just random people.
Yeah, so you'd have more mechanic-based, I'm going to develop my character, so I'm playing my character, which is only benefited by the fact you don't know each other's real names, which is one of the struggles we have, is using our fake names in campaigns, our characters' names. So it's we're like, oh yeah, Ethan's character, right, because we've known Ethan, instead of saying Hallbjorn.
Or fucking,
It also doesn't help that that Zach's character is named Hallbjorn or Hjalbjorn.
Yeah.
It's Hjalborn and Hallbjorn, and I have their sheets in front of me at all times, and I have a hard time looking at the sheet, and I'm like...
I forget my own character's name.
It is maddening, and I still need to get those... I need to just buy name tags is what I need.
You need to give me a title already.
Yeah, I do. I need to just make new names for everyone.
It's I'm tired of saying your name. You are now, Scissor Man.
Yeah,
pretty much you're the Berserker now, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a clever name to give him, because it needs to be unique. It can't just be the Berserker.
The Bjorn Zerker.
Shut up. So, with... What was, the flavor? I don't know. I've never read the books that you're talking about, so I don't know what the flavor of this...
Isn't this the one where they, ingested metals or whatever? Or,
yeah, it's... the magic system is... There are 3 basic magic systems all around different metals.
Pretty metal. Continue.
I hope that recorded.
Yes.
Tapping on the table.
Me drumming my fingers.
Yes.
Okay, so there's allomancy, which is where you ingest metals, you take copper shavings or something like that, and you focus on it as it's sitting in your stomach, and you can burn it to create different effects. So, if you... the look that Ethan's giving me.
I'm just
You're imagining eating caltrops or something and how it would go down.
No,
he's imagining burning copper in your stomach.
Exactly, green flames and all.
Okay, it's not like it actually heats up and burns. It's just
you gotta remember magic.
Yeah,
it's just magic-y things.
It does magic.
Ignore laws of physics. Just magic.
Yes. Yeah. If you eat pewter and burn it in your stomach, you become super strong.
Pewter's part lead, isn't it? If I recall correctly.
Yes.
Yes,
it is.
Lead is one of the things you can eat and ingest if memory serves.
This is not conducive to a healthy diet.
Yeah, maybe this isn't for kids.
I'm gonna go eat some lead and we're really strong.
Look,
Okay,
Daddy,
so-
I'm going to lift a car. What are you doing? He said, I ate 5 pounds of pewter just a moment ago.
My bones are brittle from lead poisoning.
Like you have to burn it all the time, otherwise you just drop them.
But yeah.
And the second one, perhaps less
Less cringy.
less of a health danger, is Furochemy, where you can sort of like equivalent exchange, where
Okay.
if you wear jewelry made of certain metals or something, like say you were to wear a tin ring on your finger, you could like go blind for a few days, but then you could draw on all the energy you stored in the ring to see like 40 miles into the distance with perfect clarity.
So you like give something up in order to like have
A
like
short burst of like
a
super
compounded effect of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I my muscles no longer work, but 3 days we're gonna beat your face in.
It's like, yes, the Olympic star athlete. Like, can we have an interview? No. Why? He's horribly crippled. He's like sitting in the bed, like, I can hardly lift my sheets. And then shows up at the Olympics, and it's just like, huh!
Like there's actually one part in the books where a person who can use Furochemy has like 5 armbands made of a particular metal, and he puts all of his physical weight into it, and he basically just wafts down a corridor during the final battle. And then when like people are behind him with fans or something, getting to go down the hallway. And then when they're like in the evil emperor's palace and they need somebody to bar the doors, he's like, "Don't worry, I've got this." And then dumps all of his physical weight over the past few days into him at once, and like the floor cracks and he holds the door by himself. And this is like one of those big evil emperor doors. It's like 40 feet tall and 30 feet wide.
Yeah,
He's just like sitting there in front of it, like, you've got about 2 hours before I pass out from effort.
I'm just gonna chill here until my body says no.
Yeah.
And then there's the third one, which is the pretty much just basically the evil art. It's called Hemalurgy. And this is where you take one of the 2 other types of wizards who can use metals, either the guys who can eat the metal or ones who can wear the metal, and you drive a spike through one of their organs, take the spike out, and drive it into yourself to absorb their power.
I'm going to immediately rescind the fact that we said this was a child-friendly
Yeah, I
beginner's
know. I guess
game.
I'm like, yeah, this is the kids' first D&D. It's like, nope, these elements are a bit too out of whack for that.
Like one of the most famous methods in the book to do it is to drive a spike through the heart of somebody else and then jam it into your eye and up through your brain so that you gain all their knowledge and power.
Yeah, I feel like these spikes aren't like what I'm thinking of. Because I'm thinking of like the wooden stakes used to kill vampires.
No, these are like railroad spikes.
Yeah, that's still...
But bigger.
Yeah, but like...
How do you not lose
Yeah, like
your
how do you
eye?
not lose your eye? Like you stab it into your eye and you're like, yes, I can see really far. Shit.
Wait, I got this.
It doesn't quite go into
Magic.
I get that, but it's just still...
Magic. No, they hunt you down with sense of smell, Tylar.
I've lost my sight. I can smell better now.
I can smell them through the walls.
I would laugh if, like, sometime in, like, just the distant future of that universe, like, they find out they didn't actually need to stab someone else for that power to work. And they're like, or they didn't, or like the reverse happens, they find out they didn't have to stab themselves. It's like, oh, if we just waited a few seconds, actually, when you stab the other guy's eye, like, you actually don't need to stab yourself in the eye.
It's like, wait, what, we could have not been hurting ourselves this entire time?
Man, I'm sure, like, Cripple Joe won't like that very much.
It's the guy who's got, like, a bunch of spikes in his legs.
Yeah, he's, like all up and down his body are just spikes. He's like, I can't do it anymore, but now I've, like, absorbed enough power to be, like, omnipotent for 5 years.
Yeah, there's like the 3 basic magic systems in the game. And then there's the basics like sword play and diplomacy and stuff like that.
Diplomancy?
Yes.
Yeah, diplomancy.
My favorite kind of...
Spellcraft, yeah.
From what I've read of the first like quarter of the book, because it's like 800 pages long, is obviously written by a writer, not a game designer.
Yep.
Well, I think we've all played a game that was written by people who knew the rules too well.
Yeah.
Destroyed,
Clearly
almost destroyed
you just
friendship.
have to do this using these mechanics. You never mentioned what those mechanics were.
It's okay. You'll figure it out.
God, it's so bad.
Just spend 3 years developing the game, then you'll know.
Yeah. Just reinvent the game. We're giving you the end piece. Just go from the beginning, which was nothing. We started with nothing. You started with nothing. We just give you the end goal. I mean, you'll be able to figure out, point A to point B.
I think the game would have been a lot more fun if we took that approach.
I think it would have.
Probably.
What's this rule do? I don't know.
It does
everybody
this!
wins.
Are you sure? I am now.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. We might give that one a shot, potentially.
I don't really think that this group would do well with this game. It's the sort of game where like you have to have read the books.
Yeah,
like it specifically says you don't have to read the books to play this game, and then it's like, okay, here's like a basic setting for like the Ska Rebellion in the Southern Outlands, and the Nine Houses, and the Lord Emperor and the Last Empire, and
I think what they meant by
Yeah.
you don't have to read that book or whatever thing, I think is a situation where if you read either just the book series, like say that you had read the book series and I had read that, like, Game Master stuff, I could theoretically be like, okay, you already know all the mechanics of the story. I'm just going to tell you what you need to do. Like, I can walk you through making a character.
Yeah.
And then I can walk, because you already know what character you're going to want. Because, I mean, obviously anything that's doable in the books is going to be doable as a character.
right.
So I could walk you through making a character, like, in terms of mechanic-wise, like how you'd write it out. And then I would just be like, here's the setting. And now whenever I prompt you to roll a certain dice roll, you will tell me what happens, type thing. Or I'll tell you what happens.
I also noticed that even in the way that the rules are portrayed in the book, it seems more like it's not like a system for creating your own completely unique stories. It's more like this is a game for people who want to reenact the books.
Or at least, like, take a part in it. Because, I mean, thing is, everyone always seems to think, like, when they're in a world, they have to be part of the grand overarching plot, so to speak. And, I mean, most GMs are going to coerce you into it because, I mean, most people want to feel important. That's why they're playing a game, when in their unimportant lives, they wander about uselessly in their aimless existence.
Bring it back, Tyler.
So, when playing a game, you can just be in those worlds. Like you could be in the Harry Potter universe, be at Hogwarts, in a weird Harry Potter-based system.
Jesus Christ.
And
I would prefer to live my completely mundane life than being in the murder school.
But no, here's my point, though. You could have simple things like simple adventures. Like, let's say us three were playing, and then like Ethan's character goes into the woods on a dare, and then we don't see him for like a few days, and we're like, shit, if we don't get him back, we're going to get in trouble.
And we
Like-
find his body out
A
there.
really morbid Harry Potter game. Please give.
I mean, that's possible too, but I was going
Like-
more along the lines of we find him and like he's hunting down someone who was poaching like a unicorn or something. Because Ethan brought it upon himself because he saw it and he was like one of those like headstrong type people who was like, no, fucker's gonna pay. And we're like, all right, I guess. I mean, we're not gonna convince him to get back. Ethan's the one who knows curses, so it's not like he's gonna let us go back.
I also was thinking
Why are we
something.
his friend again?
Yeah, like, what, do we like this guy?
Because he told us to.
Or just random day-to-day things made into a larger adventure. I mean, we played Made RPG, sadly. But that's what that was. It was
That was great.
Who wants to, it's the master's breakfast time. Go make him breakfast.
That
And
was
there
pretty
was-
amazing.
And there was conflict, and I'm going to make the best breakfast for master. And it's making the mundane things cool.
It's what I was getting at words. So in those games, yeah, you might not be involved in the rebellion or whatever story's going on.
Yeah.
But you could be in a small village on the west side of the country.
No, man, east side. Snap.
And, well, I mean, you could have a gang war. Who cares? I mean, you can do whatever. The whole thing is the world. I guarantee you, the author did not specify what's going on in every single nook and cranny of that world.
True.
And there are potential mages that slip through the cracks. Or maybe there's one person who was part of that evil organization using the spikes thing and the dark magics and such, and ended up just leaving. He's like, well, I learned what I wanted to, and then, they're kind of dicks, so I just left. And now I've got this
If you read the books, though, there are reasons that nobody ever leaves the area, because,
Well, Jesse,
Exception.
read the books.
Yeah, I know. I know.
But no, I was pointing out that characters are always an exception to the rule. Like, there's a reason why ogres are evil.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a reason why your character, who's an ogre, isn't evil.
Mm-hmm.
So you ate one too many, baby, and you absorbed their kindness.
Baby sickness, no!
It's a major plague in the ogre tribes.
He's got the baby sickness. Get rid of him.
He must be exiled. No, Jimmy, don't eat that baby! Oh, God.
He wants to.
The maid RPG thing reminded me of another thing that was like a major part of this
Yes, the pronoun
system.
game.
Interpersonal conflict is like a big part of this, and like it emphasizes physical violence just as much as social and emotional violence.
Oh, last thing I want is fucking SJWs in my RPGs.
No, I think Tylar might enjoy some aspects of it, like hitting someone with a sword can be a lot of the times less damaging than destroying their social status and such.
You can't hear the noise, he's rubbing his hands together menacingly.
Dry washing his hands.
Yes!
And there's interpersonal conflict, like emotionally shattering someone, like revealing secrets and like jabbing at old wounds and stuff like that.
Oh, you mean the stuff that I was talking about to you every time we watch any of those child-friendly shows and I end up like ripping apart their inner workings of their horribly shattered psyche that they just barely hold together with Band-Aids?
Yep, that's
the kids' show, so they always like go, let's just gloss over that.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the kind. That's the stuff.
And I'm like, hey, how does it feel to know that you're worthless and you're only trying to exist because this character that left you and didn't care enough about you to actually stick around? It's like, oh, but we never addressed that because it's a kids' show.
Oh, Dora. No,
yeah.
Left to die in the jungle, were you?
Your parents don't care about you.
Gone so crazy, you put red boots on a monkey and started thinking it was your friend.
My map talks to me. I love it.
You kidnapped a monkey, Dora. Why would you do this?
The fox is trying to eat her because it's starving.
Alright, so I might actually give that game a look into, though, myself, if I ever have free time.
Me.
Ever. Besides when I'm not playing video games.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the other thing I was wanting to talk... I'm assuming that's all you want to talk about for that? Or is there any other points you'd like to address?
There was like one more thing.
Okay.
I was wondering if you guys would think that it would be, like... Is it better to, like, play a game system like this, or just homebrew stuff into D&D or some other system that you already know?
That actually, yeah, I would actually say the better thing to do, if you wanted to, say if you were at some point wanting to GM for our group, hypothetically, and you were wanting to use like that world or that system of magic and such,
yeah,
the best option you have to do is study into 3.5, figure out a way of making, like looking at that, how that system works, and transitioning it to 3.5, or if you find a system that's like that, if you look at the game called Rifts, where Rifts is basically the Rosetta Stone of tabletop games.
Okay.
Because they usually address how you can take these different tabletop games and implement it.
They've got one book where it's like, this is the book you use, because the Rifts is there's portals and rifts from all these multiverses that come together into this game world. So what they do is they're like, well, you may want characters and things from other games to come in, so we made a conversion book. It is a book based on conversions to the Rift system. But then they're also like, well, yeah, we did that. And then we're like, well, why not just keep going? Here's conversions from every system to every other system.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they go, what you can do is you can either, if they have a direct cheat, conversion from this to D&D or everything, like, I'm assuming they didn't directly address that because that doesn't seem like a very popular tabletop thing.
Like, I was thinking that at some point they might mention D&D because, like, everybody knows D&D.
Yeah.
And, like,
No.
have some sort of comparison, but no, it's just all about the books.
Yeah, no. So what I would suggest doing if you're wanting to convert 3.5, because that would make it so it'd be easily digestible by everyone involved. Because then you just have to go over, instead of having to go over mechanics and the world, you just have to go over the world for the most part, with a light brushing over mechanics.
Yeah. Right.
So what you do is you go to Rifts, and if they don't have a direct transition type chart thing, because you're probably not going to find that specific game, but you're going to find another game that has that system, like dice-based and stuff.
You're going to have like a pure D6 system to a D20 system conversion.
And then you use that, convert it to Rifts, convert it to D&D, and then you just put in the class stuff like that. And it may not be balanced, but who cares about balance when you're making a new world?
That's also you brought it up. I'm gonna blame you. Rifts is one of those games where it's like there's so much story going on, but you don't have to read it.
Okay.
I love reading the Rift books just for the story, but whenever we'd play Rifts, we'd never deal with any of the story. But there's always, oh, what time frame is this? Oh, so the Coalition wars are going on, and the Coalition's currently fighting like the Mage fucking Empire in Minnesota right now, and there's this huge battle going on for like the last Mage city. Oh, Quebec is earning its freedom right now. Like there's like all this.
Excuse me?
Yeah, no, there's all this cool lore that's happening.
See, now I need to play
in
this game.
the world.
I need to play this game so that in my own meta, I need to stop Quebec. I need to single-handedly stop Quebec from becoming a thing.
Quebec was always a thing.
No, I mean not independent.
Oh yeah, I guess.
It needs to stay under Imperial
you don't
rule.
understand.
It's too
Ethan.
powerful. It has glitter boys.
Tyler needs to erase Quebec from the multiverse.
No, Quebec
past,
cannot
present,
be-
and future.
I have seen the futures where Quebec is independent, and it's horrible for everyone besides people in Quebec.
Well, I'm going to. You guys will be happy. Brexit leads to Arthurian legends coming back.
Oh Lord!
Excuse me.
Yes, because they have like books for each area and like different stuff like that. And the British Isles is all Arthurian legend. It goes back to that, like magic. And the South American books are broken, and you shouldn't use them. But yeah, no, it's definitely. I get what you're saying. Where it's like there's tons of story, but then you, as Tyler said, you don't need to use that. You don't need to be a part of it.
Like I feel like the setting that they provide for this system like limits it quite a lot because there's like no monsters or anything.
Ouch.
There's the biggest monster of all.
Man.
Yes.
That's basically it.
Yeah, no, that's all you need, though. You have people who use stabbing in the eye magic. You don't need much more. Or you just need, like, a Moriarty. You just need someone who's so smart. Say it's someone who, like, here's a setting idea, because I don't know if it's in the books, and it's a tried and true villain that's been used by several different fictions, one of which you like.
Okay.
He hates anyone who not, like, because, again, most people, like, normal people, can't use those magics. Have it be one of those guys who despises magic users, and he's just meticulous, like Moriarty style, and he's trying to eliminate all magic users or ostracize them from society.
Okay.
Place it in the future or the past of those events, and who cares?
Okay.
And if it conflicts with what happens in the books, oh well, this is your version of it. I mean, like, that's the whole thing, is having an intimate knowledge of the books would help you have knowledge of how certain groups would react. Like, it gives you more of an idea of how they handle things.
Yeah.
But you don't need to follow it to the T. Because it's kind of like the holodeck in Star Trek, to get this more nerdy. Like, how they do in the holodeck is kids usually have, like, there's this, like, kind of play, like, world thing where you went in and followed the course of these books, like these children books.
Yeah.
And every time they go to the next chapter or next book, it would save, like, what they did in the previous books. So, like, they actually got to know them and stuff. And actually, in the Voyager show, the captain, apparently, in her, like, she was apparently terrible at it. Like, she would just ruin it all the time. Because in the second chapter, so like, she ended up flooding the whole place, making it this enchanted forest into like a bog, and so it could never, like, every time she would go in, it's just horrible because she just ruined everything. But there's the whole thing where it's like there's a static story, but your story as a person interacting with this world can branch from that radically. So
The railroad situation, which we usually let the train fall way off the tracks.
It's better that way.
Plummet into the valley, careen towards the town.
The more I try to railroad, the more everyone gets less interested, and then everyone just retreats to their own technologies, and then I just feel like I'm just kind of talking to a wall.
What was that?
But yeah. So, yeah, there you go. Just look into Rifts, and for everyone listening, Rifts. It's a godsend when you're trying to convert games.
It's
We're not sponsored.
It's a confusing. It's not necessarily a confusing system. I had a pretty rough GM for the first time I played it, which made it kind of like sour to me. But I do love the system. You just gotta love it. You just gotta work it.
Also, it's a system that I've always tempted to use, in the sense that whenever we're like deciding what next games to play, because we love 3.5. We're basically, if you were to establish what we play is 3.5.
I don't know. I think I prefer Pathfinder, actually.
Well, that's because you joined after the group as a whole. The consensus is 3.5. I should clarify.
Okay, I'll just be
You haven't existed long enough in this group
you
to have
and
a
Nate,
majority
you and
say.
Nate are currently like the minority that goes for Pathfinder. But like Derek, myself, Ethan, Zach, and the off and on Cashy are 3.5.
Okay.
So well, usually just baseline D&D, excluding Force. We'll even go back to like Spelljammer, but
yeah.
That reminds me, like, I tried to get into D&D when I was, like, 13 or something, and I picked up the box starter kit, and it was...
Oh, bro, I got one of those too.
And it was 4th edition.
Oh, no! I didn't
So I was
get
like,
one of
this
those.
is terrible. Why would I ever want to play this game?
And then,
God, you were 13?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. I was driving. I, like, did this for free time. Oh.
Jesse.
You just
is a lot-
aged yourself.
It's true.
Oh.
Well, Jesse is younger than all of us. Like he's only 21 now, I think. Or wait, didn't you just turn 22?
22.
Yeah, you just turned 22. He's only 2 years
Hissing
younger.
Hi,
at you.
Ethan.
Get out of here.
Hi, Ethan.
Can't have minors around me.
Well, not anymore.
Wait, what?
Nothing you need to know about.
So
Kid-friendly show.
this is what happens when you get into the taboo of Lolita. Anyway, there's so continuing on, we're gonna move on to another topic now.
Okay.
Topic
sure.
I've been
similar
wanting to talk
topic.
about.
I'll
A
shut
similar
up.
topic. No, I mean I
Yes.
figured you covered all your points, and
No,
Yeah,
Jesse's
most
done
of
now.
we
Okay,
got
I'm
into
done.
we got into a
I'm done now. Bye, guys.
tangential rift.
See you later.
But so no, I was gonna talk about my first D&D experience, and we're gonna tell a tale. And Jesse has not heard the ins and outs of this story, but he's definitely heard this beginning many times.
I've heard bits and pieces, like highlights.
Ethan was there for
All of it.
all of it. No, you weren't there for the first one.
Oh, I wasn't there for the very first session,
Yeah,
but
you weren't
I was
the
there
entering
for the
gate
second
house.
round.
Yeah, you were there for the second round because you came in with the soon to be discussed undead chicken swarm.
Okay, maybe I haven't heard enough of this.
It is an incredible story, and this will take some time. So sit down and let me tell you a tale.
This is also the story where
So-
I learned what whelm is,
Oh.
because you can be underwhelmed, and I didn't know you could be whelmed,
Yes.
and then I did learn.
So Aeon the Paladin was my first character I ever made because I didn't know how to play the game. And there's only two types of characters in fantasy I ever liked, which are complete polar opposites. One is like the necromancer with his undead horde, and the other is like the, paladin, full plate, shield, sword, conquering evil. Yada, yada.
Do-gooder of the gods.
Yeah, exactly. So Zach helped me build a character because he knew what he was doing. So he was like, all right, so what do you want to be? I'm like, I'm going to be paladin. I'm going to be Aeon the Paladin. He's like, all right. And so he gave me my equipment, which is like my sword, shield, armor, all that stuff. All the stuff I need. And then he was like, okay, well, you've got like 500 gold pieces or whatever left. Probably not that much even. And he was like, just buy stuff. And I went looking through the player's handbook, and I was like, all right, well, Boondock Saints taught me one thing. You always need rope. Always get rope. So I got 50 foot of rope. I'm like, well, I'm a paladin. I'm going to be wanting to take people alive. I don't want to kill everyone I find and run into. And it's going to be a hassle to try and keep watch over any prisoners we take. I'm going to get some manacles. Then I remember playing Fable in Fallout New Vegas. And always getting pissed off because I don't have a shovel. And you have to dig for spots. So I got myself a shovel. And I'm like, well, I need to carry all these things in, and got partners and stuff. I'm gonna get a wagon. So I got a wagon because I had all the access money. I'm gonna be the cool kid who's got like a means of transportation. So I got my horses, my wagon, my sword, all that stuff. And then I get to town. I'm rolling in, and Zach's like, all right, so the town guard hails you, and you're like, yes. It's like, who goes there? I'm like, I am Aeon the Paladin, seeking like allies and stuff. Because my whole backstory was like I came from an island that was overrun by bandits, and I'm trying to find people to help me so I can get stronger, and they are stronger, and I go back and take it back.
Okay.
And they were like, all right, Mr. Paladin. No, I have no reputation or anything at this point. I'm some random schmuck in armor. And so they were looking like, we're just going to take a look at that wagon. And so Zach's like, okay, hand me your character sheet. So I hand Zach my character sheet, and he looks at my items, and he goes, all right, Mr. Paladin. What were you doing coming into town in the middle of the night with 50 feet of rope, manacles, a sword, a wagon, and a shovel? And I just melted on the spot because I was horribly new to this, and I was just like, I don't know what to say. I'm like, I might need them? And he was like, all right, we're going to hold on to these. And so I went into town. And that's where I met Nate. The first time I ever met Nate was his character was a bard who, to this day, holds a grudge because of that character, which we ran into in our Pathfinder campaign. Because at one point I'm riding through town and stuff, and these kids are constantly like, "Oh, what are you?" I'm like, "I'm a paladin." It's like, "What do you do?" I'm like, I protect people from the bad people that, stuff like that." And they're like, "There are bad people out to get me," and like freaking out and stuff. And these kids, like, Zach was tormenting me. Zach was specifically getting me like prepared through like the sink or swim situation of having like asshole NPCs who will misinterpret everything you say in the worst way possible. To which Nate shows up and is like, "Oh, fair children, don't mind him. He's just a fuddy-duddy," and plays music and makes them all happy, dancing lights. Everyone's happy. So we get to the tavern, our favorite tavern of all, the Rusty Badger.
Oh, yes, its name is now tarnished, though.
Anyway, so we went to the Rusty Badger, and there was Cashie's character was there, and he was a druid or whatever, and he was sitting there and trying to feed his wolf apples, and just kind of frowned at him like, "What are you doing?"
No, be a vegetarian wolf. I was told that this exists.
Be a vegan wolf. So what is happening? That we get to the tavern and there's like a talent show thing, and this is what Nate's burning fury is.
Oh no!
Because there's a talent show, and he gets there and he performs, and we're like level 2 or 3 or something, like something low, and like Nate rolls like a 10 or something, like something respectable for his performance. He's a bard. And the axe, and he's like beating all the other acts, and then a juggler comes on, and Zach rolls at 20. And they're like, that juggler just trounced him. Because like he was like, "I'm going to cast like, unseen servant thing, and like dazzling lights," and he just like magicked the shit up, making a concert thing. And then this juggler's like, "Watch as I do 4 flaming balls."
And it's like, "I do 3. And then I add another, and everyone's like, "More!"
Mind blown.
And
the
then,
wench in the back faints.
So yeah, that's why for one, that's the story of why Nate has a hate for jugglers.
Deep
in D&D.
burning hatred for jugglers.
Yeah, that's why a juggler almost beat our metal band. So after that, I think we went on a quest because like there was a farm, Spot of Bother, up at Elroy Farm, if I remember correctly, was what Zach said, which no one understood.
Spot of Bother.
Which no one got the reference but Nate, because me and Cassie hadn't watched Hot Fuzz. Watch it. So we went up there, and I brought my wagon and stuff, and we're going up there, and we're like, okay, so we go up to the farm or stuff, and I put my horses in the barn and stuff, and it's like, "Oh yeah, go over into the woods, there's some, bad stuff happening up there," and I'm like, "All right, in Heronius' name, I will help you," because I'm like trying to play the, heroic paladin.
Trying to play up the paladin act.
Yeah. And at some point, I end up getting somewhat separated from the party, and I go into the woods, because I'm like trying to help out like some peasant or something I see. Who's being beset by like 3 orcs.
Trying to be a good person.
Yeah, trying to be a paladin.
That was your first problem.
Yeah.
So the first thing that happens is I run up, and before I can even hit any of them, one of the orcs happens to be a shaman and hits me with Ray of Enfeeblement. I can no longer walk carrying the burden that is my full plate. I fall down, and I'm stuck there. And then I hear giggling in the air to my left. This was to be the first time I would know true terror that is known as a gnome. And
they're a sick race, those.
And suddenly those orcs were bursting into flames left and right, and they were gone away with and stuff like that. And then like the gnome appeared, and he was like, "Oh hi, like I saw you need help." And I was like, "Thank you. Could you like please take this armor off me? I can't move." And he was like, "All right," and takes it off. So I'm sitting there wearing like nothing but like the padding stuff that's beneath full plate that like barely covers you, and sitting there, and like the peasant comes to, so I use lay on hands to try and bring him back. I'm like, "Heal," and he's like, "Oh, thank you, kind sir," who he just came to, and I'm wearing like, sees my full plate to the side of me wearing just the padding stuff, and he's like, "Thank you?" And I'm like, no, no thanks to me, thank my friend," and I point to where there once was a gnome. And then he looks at me, and then takes me in full scope, and the fact that, again, I am nearly half naked at this point, he's just like, "I'm just gonna go." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's probably for the best." And, yeah. Again, this is... You can see how Aeon the Paladin is slowly becoming humbled.
Being whittled down by the real world.
Yeah, so we go through the forest, and on our way to the place we're going, because we're going to like some temple thing, and something's like calling out to me or something. And we finally get... We're like, so we handled all the orcs things, and then we found like an ogre camp, like an ogre with a bunch of orc slavers, where my parents were there for some reason.
Oh, well then.
That's a thing. And then we sit there, and there's like a vampire nearby outside, because like we're sitting there, and he's like, yes, I will free the slaves here, but you have to handle this vampire, like this undead problem I'm having, because there's a bunch of undead in the wood. We're like, okay, guess we're handling that. So we go and handle the undead problem by going out there, and we're like, hey, can we spend the night in the fort with you guys where it's safe, so we can rest up? And then I roll a 3 on my diplomacy check, which I didn't put any ranks in diplomacy because I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and this is why I'm a skill junkie
You're
now.
not a diplomancer.
Yeah. So we end up having to stay outside, in which case we run into a vampire, which at this point I've been refraining from mentioning. One of the members of our party was my stepfather at the time.
Lingle the Mighty.
Lingle Big Dingle the Mighty.
Oak.
He would always come in like an hour and a half into the session, completely drunk from being at the bar, and he would just be like, "I'm Lingle the Mighty. I do a backflip."
Yeah, like he was a halfling rogue with a 17 strength.
Okay, I've never heard this part of the story.
There's
Honestly,
a reason.
I forgot Lingle. Oh, I forgot he existed, and
Please do tell me.
Remember why everyone was being so mean to Aeon?
yes.
Because Kashi had rolled the alignment of the city.
Yeah, no, I know that, Zach. That's not really pertinent.
Oh, okay.
So what ended up happening though is that we went to, so when we had gone outside, we got met with a vampire who's like, all right, look, listen up, you little shits. He sees me as a paladin, and he saw me earlier turn undead, and it worked. I actually rolled really well that time, so he's like, he doesn't know I'm a shitty paladin. So he's like, look, I really don't want to deal with your shit. So here, I just want those orcs and the ogre. That's all I want. I just want them because I want their corpses. And that's all. Now, you let me have them, I let the slaves go. Alright? No fighting. Just simply do nothing. And I was like, that's a good deal. Meanwhile, Lingle the Mighty's doing backflips around, being like a total dick, trying to stab at him and stuff, and he's like, what missing? And so he just offhandedly dominates him. He's like, dance. And then he sits there and he's like, okay. And little did I know that shortly after this encounter, Kashi would let himself get bit by this vampire and become a vampire. So
Things are looking up?
no, here's the cruel thing. So I was a lawful good paladin. I just made a deal with a known evil creature. I lose my paladin powers.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, doesn't that work like that?
Yeah, no. So now I've lost my paladin powers for doing what was the pragmatic thing. And otherwise I would have died. So now I'm a fighter, without the bonus feats, and without a lot of the other good shit. And we get back to the town area. We're trying to go back to the farm area, and we run into. I can't remember what we run into. I think we ran into the undead troll first. Was that before or after you, Ethan? Were you there for the half dragon that threw my wagon?
Yes.
Okay.
So
yeah.
beforehand was me.
Yeah. So on the way back, we run into Ethan, who's a character who's a beguiler, which uses spells like whelm.
Illusion. Beguilers are illusion-y.
Yeah. And they can do subdual damage and stuff. There's one thing that they cannot handle. Undead and swarms. Namely, the undead swarm of chickens at his feet. And we were like, oh no, and we were on swing torches at it and stuff, because none of us had AoEs for the most part, except for the gnome who would randomly appear and be like, burst of fire. And I hated that gnome, with a passion. His entire time.
I wonder why.
He kept showing up at the worst times, making me feel like an idiot. Anyway, so we're leaving the woods. And when we first leave the woods, there's, we're going out of the woods, and the farmers are all sitting there what are you? They have little battle and stuff because they're afraid of the, undead stuff. They're like, are you illusions? And then Ethan just bursts in, yes, we're illusions!
I go, woo!
And rolls a 20.
I rolled 20 on my bluff I expected to bluff, and then he just goes, wow! He just sprints away, and they all run into the barn and lock themselves in.
And I'm sitting there, at this point, I'm fucking had it. And actually, before this is after I'd already gotten we'd actually gone to a temple, and I'd actually absorbed the power of a, demon prince thing. Actually, I didn't know what it was. The point is, I became, so I have, this weird being inside me saying, yes, I was split into pieces, find the rest of me. And I'm like, alright, sure. And he also granted me the power to change me into an actual fighter. He's like, well, you're a shit paladin anyway, so take a point of wisdom damage and change your levels to fighter. And I was like, okay. So that's why I'm a fighter at this point. And I'm walking up, and the gnome's sitting there, and I'm like, gnome? He's like, yeah. I'm like, look, I just want my horses. I want you to blow the fucking side off that barn. He's like, you want like a boom or a boom? And I'm like, boom. And he just shoots a maximized, like, empowered fireball at the side of the barn, blowing it open. And I walk into the wreckage like, where's my horse? And the farmer's like, ah! And then we get my horses and stuff, and we're sitting there. And then I cast a blight on one of the farmers or something, and, like, myrtleize him. Because, like, the power inside me was like, use it. Use the power of the dark side.
I was also biting things. I was a Jabrin, and they have pointy teeth.
Yeah. Also, he became a vampire.
This was I was talking to Zach about the character I should make for this campaign. He's like, oh yeah, I'm making this vampire template. And he's like, oh, I shouldn't have told him that. Because Kashi was secretly a vampire, and he was making the template specifically for Kashi. So you could, like, level buy into it.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, I'll do that. And then I chose a Fae. And then we realized later, after that character had, like, disappeared, that you can't be a Fae and a vampire. It just doesn't work.
There's ways, like, just like you're not supposed to be able to be a dragon and a vampire, but there are, or, like, you're not allowed to be a dragon and a lich or something like that, but there's, it's D&D. You can make whatever you want. It's just guidelines, really. But yeah, so it was just, also I had changed from being an Asamar, which is like a good aligned planar being. Since I absorbed the power of what was basically a demon prince that I wasn't really sure was a demon prince at the time, I became a tiefling. So I was a tiefling. I was a delightful tiefling. And I was growing more and more, like, at this point I had gone from the point of being, like, proud and righteous to being, like, humbled and just like, I just want to get the fucking job done.
Jaded piece of crap.
We got back to town.
In the course of 3 days.
We got back to town. It wasn't even 3 days, it was like 1.
It was like, what, 2?
Yeah, maybe 2.
Yeah, including
Maybe 2.
travel.
Yeah.
And the stories say that his heart shrank 4 sizes that day.
Yeah. But we got back to town, and the first thing we see is 2 urban, like, urchins, like, fighting in the streets. And, like, stabbing each other. And, like, one dies, and nobody cares. And we're like, anyone gonna... And then we, like, see someone, like, stab another guy, like, at a market stall. We're like, what's going on? And then we find out that the town's, like, got some weird thing going on that, like, ever since we had left, and presumably when we got to that temple, like, people aren't dying anymore. Like, whenever they die, they just come back in, like, a day. And so, like, they have a tournament. So they're like, hey, why not? You know, everyone can fight and everyone has a chance. Why not just have a tournament and, like, winner gets money? And so we end up going to having a tournament thing. And Ethan's sitting there, like...
Well, there's an important piece before this. One of the child that was unconscious. You know, I'm a vampire and all. So I'm like, oh, no, I'll take care of him. And I brought him to the Rusty Badger. And I manacled him to the bed in my room for later so I could drink his blood.
There was never a point where we got back later.
Yeah. So we left. And then forgot to return, which is why the Rusty Badger will never, ever let me back in.
I just imagine that, like, the Rusty Badger is haunted now or something.
No, I'm imagining that they think it's a pedophile ring now. There was a
That
child,
too.
like, hooked up to a bed.
That too.
Ethan specifically said, he didn't say he locked him into the room. He manacled him to the bedpost.
I mean, come on, Todd. I don't think we needed to spell out that we think Ethan's a pedophile. You know?
But no, so what ended up happening, though, in this town outside of Ethan's shenanigans with a child, we went to the tournament thing, and me and Kashi decided to join in. Everyone else is like, you know, we're just going to watch. And, like, the first few people we fight are just peasants, and we crush them easily. Like, Kashi ends up fighting, like, some ranger guy or fighter guy and beats him. And I end up fighting a random peasant boy called Johnny.
Oh.
Johnny the peasant boy, who's got literally a rusty dagger. And has nothing but, like, stale bread and stuff in his pockets. And so I'm sitting there going, like, you know, I got these newfound powers. Let me just, you know, fiddle them out a bit. So I'm like, reverse gravity. So he's, like, floating in the air, and he's, like, floating, like, takes off his shirt and, like, throws it at me, like, throws stale bread, and, like, everyone's, like, going crazy because there's, like, this imposing knight and, like, this kid are fighting, and Johnny's, like, a local boy. So they're like, yeah, go Johnny! And, like, Ethan's even sitting there, like, egging him on, like, yeah, get him, Johnny! Get him!
And we're like fucking, like, I think we were like, I don't remember if we were placing bets on Tylar, but, like, rousing the crowd for Johnny. But we're still like, ah, Johnny, kick his ass. And Tylar's like, what? And we're like, fuck him up, Johnny, yeah.
And, like, I wasn't taking damage. Like, Johnny, I think, only got, like, 4 points of damage on me. But, like, he was, like, throwing his shirt, and I got entangled in it. It took me, like, 2 rounds to get it off. And because Zach was giving them like +3s and +5 like bonuses due to morale, just from the sake of like the crowd going nuts and like giving me penalties because I'm getting frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And then I proceed to butcher Johnny as soon as like I dispel the reverse gravity thing, and then like just butcher him because he's wearing no armor and has a rusty dagger and is like a level 1 commoner. So Johnny got dead, but Johnny came back.
Good for Johnny. Johnny's the real hero here.
He got better.
Yeah. Then we went to... At some point, we ended up getting... Didn't we get arrested? No, I think I got arrested.
There was more tournaments, then you fought the evil half-dragon dude.
Yeah.
And failed.
Oh, yeah.
And then, yeah, I think most of us got arrested.
All of us got arrested. Yeah, because me and Cashy got done, because I beat Cashy.
Oh, that's when Lingle died.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah, no,
Spoilers.
Not Lingle.
So we end up coming to, and I'm sitting there on like
Take
a temple.
Aeon, not
I'm
Lingle.
like on a Temple of Doom like stone tablet thing chained above like lava over like with a grate over lava, and like the mayor of the town turned out he's like wearing like cultist robe things. He's like got like I can see his other like 'cause my right hand was glowing with my piece of the god, and his left hand was glowing with a piece of the god thing, and he's like, yes, I will remove the pot out of you. And I was like, shit, son. And then meanwhile, in the dungeons...
We're over in the dungeons in like a big cage,
Yeah.
and Cashy is going bloodlust crazy.
Because he forgot to drink any blood as a vampire.
Any.
Oh, no.
So he's like, oh my god.
And Lingle is sitting there in the dungeon as well, because Zach's like, well, Lingle never left town, and he's up to no good. And like, so he got no... So like, Cashy just straight up grapples and like sucks the life out of Lingle for the most part. Nearly killing him. So he's like sitting there with like 6 con damage, like and Cashy's like, oh, that's better, and everyone's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And then Ethan's like, oh my god, you're a vampire. How could you?
Oh no.
But yeah, so they end up, and that's how Peter and Brian end up joining our campaign, because they were also in the dungeons with us. And I guess they decided to tag along after we broke out for, adventure reasons. But like how I broke out was funny because it's... So they end up breaking out of the cages because I think Peter ends up using some of the psionic Figgly Wiggly to break you out.
Oh, Jesus Christ, psionics.
Yeah, no, Peter was using psionics, and he was also using the Book of 9 Swords.
Oh, that's also the character Brian rolled a nothing but 18s on.
Yeah.
For his stats.
Yeah, there were witnesses.
Oh, no, we were sitting there watching him, like, yeah, use my dice, they're really good. And he goes, 18, 18, 18, 18, 18. It's just, I'm like, give me those dice back.
I'm like,
oh, you're using it up.
Yeah. So what ends up happening, though, is, like, they end up busting through, and they're having, like, legitimate, like, dungeon crawling fights. Meanwhile, I'm like, I use my strength so I can, like, burst out of the bindings, because I've got really huge strength. And then I end up, like, breaking out of the bindings, and then getting into, like, a punching match, which is of the equivalent against, like, a guy that's, like, Emperor Palpatine. So I'm like, punch. So like, he's like, so like, Zach's like, he takes out the ropes, he's like ripped, and we're just like, oh, let's go. And we're like doing a punching match over like, on this like grating over lava.
Nanomachines, bro.
Yeah. Nanomachines, son. And like, we're sitting there duking it out. And like, they show up like right after like, I've murdered him. Like, I just like straight up caved his face in. And so I'm sitting there like, huh, so okay, where's my equipment? Like, we're all like, because they met up with where I was. And we're all getting our equipment ready. And then Ethan's like, I kicked the mayor into the lava. We're like, wait, no! Because, like, we didn't loot him yet. And Ethan's just like, oops. And we're just like, he's like, no. We're like, Ethan, no. And he's like, no, I'm doing it. Like, no one's near it. Like, everyone left the room. I'm kicking him in. And we're like, yeah, it was a bad time.
Looking back, I do that a lot.
Yeah, and then you get pissed at me when I do it. Everyone's like, Tylar's the asshole.
I was thinking that section of the story was going to end with like his part of the demon god being released or something.
No, it got sucked into me after I caved his face in.
Okay.
Like I absorbed that out of him, and it was like, good. Now I've got 2 parts, and I got like more power.
But basically, the keys to the mayor's mansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which would have been great, because we were in, like...
Who needs keys when you have bricks and windows?
We were in, like, the floor beneath the basement.
Just build a house. Thank you, Jesse.
We ended up going into the basement, bunch of traps, bunch of stuff. Turned out to be the laboratory of one of Zach's old characters from an old campaign with
oh god, I remember
OB2K.
this.
We ran into a construct type being that, like, apparently he gets, like, +2 con damage or con, like, stat whenever it's, like... What?
It was a plant.
Yeah, it's a plant that got, like, bonus constitution whenever it took, like, electricity damage.
Mm-hmm.
And it had been sitting in this room that's electrified for like hundreds of years, if not thousands of years. So it had like billions of constitution just like sitting there like, hello, how's it going?
I'm going to outlive the universe.
Yeah, and we're like, sup? And he's like, yeah, like this is this so-and-so's laboratory and stuff. Like we got information like where we were and stuff out of him. He's like, sweet. He's like, so I'm just going to go. We're like, yeah, see ya. And he like left and we're like, damn, we should have had him come with us. Like he would have been like an unstoppable tank. But we ended up going through the whole thing and we were like about to go up the stairway into like out of this place. And suddenly an inevitable or something like pops up because I had sent the gnome to make stuff in the plane of dreams.
Oh.
Which is where you can like times 10 speed or whatever. And I forget what he made. He made me something. I think he made like a sword that was like had bonuses against aliens or something. It was something dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And like an angel shows up and is like, you, and like points at the gnome, and like it was on the other side of something that I couldn't cross. I can't remember what. I think it was like rubble or something. Or they put up a wall of force. And it just straight up murders the gnome. And I'm like, no! Because at this point I had started to grow attached to the gnome because I was losing my sanity and the gnome was starting to...
Wasn't that with Meteor Swarm? It was like a random spell effect?
No. That's what happened in a second. Because I got the gnome back. Like, I found the dead gnome and stuff. And at this point, Peter, after realizing what I had, like with the demons thing, he's like, you don't deserve this. And ended up challenging my right to having it. And so B2K was like, fine, you know what? Let's have you two have like a kind of a competition thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up having a competition thing where OB2K is basically being the judge. And I end up losing. Oh. And so B2K's like, fine, all right, the two parts leave me, and I become like, once again, I become an ASMR, but I'm like sitting like shriveled old husk of an ASMR because I've lost all the power that I was living off of. And it goes into Peter's character. Peter's like, yes, I am like a god now. And then Peter goes off into the hallway and suddenly feels like everything's temperate. So that's weird. And then suddenly there's like lights around him. He's like, that is getting strange. And suddenly there's a meteor swarm and he's paced on the floor. Because I'm an outsider type, so I was able to house him. Peter was a human.
Ooh.
So by trying to house a god, he was having like the arcane energies just like, and divine energies just go haywire. So he got downed, and then like I got back I scrambled over like Gollum style, like, yes, my precious. And I took the 2 stones and like absorbed them into myself again, and I was like, yes. And then we brought Peter back. It was fine.
No hard feelings.
And then Peter stopped trying to take my goddamn power from me.
So Peter, you want to try again?
Yeah. At this point, though, I had gone slightly more crazy, and I'm sitting there with my dead gnome, and I'm sitting there pleading with the BTK going, I want to be like a necromancer so I can bring my friend back. And so I put points in like ventriloquism, so there's like a dead gnome in my backpack as I'm now like a wizard specialized in necromancy. And I use my dead gnome as my friend, as my puppet. He's my dead gnome friend. I'm also going completely crazy, because now we're back in town. And there's some shenanigans with Kashi and his old druid predecessor who's like, hey, I've been using that wild shape too much, when he sees like the fangs from him being a vampire.
I had a different character at this point.
Yeah.
I had the dervish scout, that lasted for like 2 sessions.
Yeah, because the story's almost over, because this is almost the ending of the campaign where we didn't stop. We just kind of stopped because we just fell apart as a group.
Yeah, that happens.
So I ended up sitting there, ran into Johnny again, and I'm crazy because I've taken like 3 wisdom damage from me changing into a necromancer. So I'm sitting here with like a 6 wisdom.
Oh.
So I'm crazy. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh yes, hi Johnny. And he's like, oh hi, like you're the one that murdered me. I'm like, oh yeah, that was a while ago, it's fine. It's all good. And he's like, he owns like a bakery thing. And like I'm sitting there and I have a terrible idea how to get back on all these fucking kids in this town. I buy Johnny's bakery out of all of its fudge. I put it in their wheelbarrow. I go around town screaming free fudge for all the kids as I throw fudge around town. I'm just throwing it everywhere to all the kids, and the kids are like, yay! And it's like all the lawful evil dentists are outside their doors wringing their hands like, yes, yes. And I'm like sitting there like, they will have cavities for the rest of their lives.
Wasn't like cursed fudge or anything, not poison fudge, just regular fudge.
It was just sugary goodness that will corrode the teeth.
I love that that's your revenge.
That was my revenge for those cheeky kids. And yeah, that was basically the last meaningful thing. So the next thing we did, we went into like a sewer. We were supposed to fight something, and then it just kind of dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a lot of people died because once we took away the power from the mayor, the non-dying thing kind of stopped happening.
But nobody told anybody.
Yeah.
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 Also, we started like a religion to OB2K because that was the demon prince. We found out his name when I got the second piece.
Okay.
That's another story.
Yeah. So that's the like 30-minute story of Aeon the Paladin and his fall from being a paladin to a fighter to a crazy necromancer with a dead gnome puppet.
All in the course of like what, a week?
And that shaped Tylar's future,
Yep.
as he now refuses to play a good-mannered, well-natured character.
Hey, no, I tried again during the Drow Wars, and that went horribly.
Well, that's Drow Wars.
I've seen him try, but the trying never lasts too long.
It never works.
It doesn't.
Like that dumb kid in Numenera, trying to be friendly, and being friendly is what makes her unhappy with you. And I was like, fuck it.
Asking her what's wrong drives her away. Okay,
Great.
that's a
Hey,
bit.
man.
Okay,
Man.
that's a bit too real, actually.
Man, that's what it said in the book. I was following the pre-described character-built, like, stuff, okay?
Thanks, Ethan.
We're gonna have to go over Numenera at some time too.
I drew a dog.
I see you drew a dog. I also drew a duck and a dick.
We have a ritual when we're starting, like, okay, we gotta get all this out of our system, and Jesse just goes, do it.
Dicks.
He'll just sit there and do that into the microphone.
Yeah.
Incessantly, repetitively, until we're like, okay, we're about to start. And he's like,
Yeah.
Because
So
like,
that's-
I'm just like, okay, I've got it out of my system, and it's like, okay, in a few seconds, you absolutely cannot do it.
like, you can't scratch your nose now, Jesse. It's illegal. As he scratches his nose, you go to jail.
Dicks.
All right. So anything else tabletop wise we want to talk about?
I haven't found anything new recently. No.
Yeah.
Like, something I want to mention, I'm probably not going to actually wind up talking about my Skype campaign because in order to get more than no views at all, I kind of want my Skype friends to watch, finger quotes.
Well, they might also learn a few
this
things
show.
about
Mhm.
tabletop stuff.
True. So I can't very well go talking about plot points and such on the show.
Yeah, until they pass, and then you can tell them like we. Just
Yeah,
did.
once my friends pass and they're all dead, then we can talk about it.
That won't be long.
Time makes skeletons of us all.
Or, maybe we could like make a short mini episode or something about it, and they could just be like, okay, this one you guys aren't allowed to watch. And then
we'll
they
talk
watch it
about that.
anyway.
We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
All right. So, is there any video game stuff we're wanting to talk about today, or we're gonna make a short episode?
I accidentally bought a Nintendo Switch.
What? How? How did you get a Switch?
There was like 7 of them at Target.
He bought one.
I hear that like 4 is how much retailers usually get.
Money
Well-
can be exchanged for goods and services.
You lie.
Well, I was shopping because I want to get a new computer desk. I want to rearrange my room. My room's a loft. It's got a bottom part and it's got a loft. Right now my bed's on the bottom floor.
Right.
But then I don't have a lot of room for anything else. So I want to move my computer downstairs, move my bed upstairs. And so I was looking around at desks. I went to some office supply stores and I went to Best Buy and had this really nice talk with one of the guys there because it was like 10 a.m. and I hate being a morning person. So I was like, I'm going to go try and do something to kill time until my friends are not working. And I walked down the Switch aisle, and he was heading that way, and he's like, oh, you looking for a Switch? I'm like, oh, I'm just seeing if you have one. And he's like, yeah, like, I don't know why, but, they're so blah, 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 hard to find, and spent some time there, and I'm like, okay, I should go check Target for, see if they have any desks or anything, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to check I always check when I go to stores for bargain bin discount computer games because Best Buy has always been like the creme de la creme of they'll buy a whole bunch of pre-orders for people and then people won't pick them up and then they sit on the shelf and then they discount them and you can get special editions for $20 cheaper than you're supposed to and it's like oh yeah
Okay.
it's great. They don't have those anymore. They all disappeared.
Thanks,
so I went,
Ethan.
yeah, and it sucks. Fucking everything's digital now. It's all Steam cards and
Yep.
Minecraft cards and
So
buy your coins.
so things can
and,
sit there indefinitely at full price.
Yeah. So I went to Best Buy and they didn't have a discount. So I'm like, I'm going to go to Target, look for desks. And I didn't even get there. I went straight to the computer game section and that disappeared too. They had like discounted PlayStation and Xbox games, but I didn't really care. So I was walking back by their electronics section, and I'm like, I'm just gonna look. And I'm like walking down, like, oh, are there any computer games down here? No, this looks like PlayStation and Switches. And I'm like, oh, there's Switches down there. What? There's Switches down there? And the two of them sitting down there. I'm like, oh shit.
There's a Switch. I never thought I'd see a physical one.
Right? So I go and I grab one of the guys. I'm like, hey, you work in electronics? He's like, yeah, what can I help you with? I'm like, you have Switches. I want one. And he's like, oh, okay. He's like, you just want the gray one? I'm like, do you have other colors? And he's like, oh, we should. And he goes, checks. He's like, oh, no, it's only gray. I'm like, dang it. I wanted the red and blue one. But whatever. So I'm like, yes, please give. Thank you very much. And I went home, and it's tiny, but it's so good.
You mean like the Wii U was tiny?
Tinier.
Oh, Jesus.
Tinier. But it's I don't know, it feels really nice. There's the difference between something like being hyped and then actually living up to it. It felt really nice to play it. And I didn't have it hooked up to the TV because the way my roommates have it set up, they have like a big receiver where they plug all the HDMI stuff into, and you have to choose a channel and all that stuff. So I didn't want to deal with that until I got home. So I was just playing it on the gamepad, with the Joy-Cons plugged into it like it's a big mobile device. And that was really good, and it was really fun. And I was playing Breath of the Wild because that's the only really game they have out for it now. They have Mario Kart now, but Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So then when I finally got it to plug it into the TV, it's like, yes. And one of my roommates, he was like, oh, like, I'm so excited that you can just, like, take off the controllers and you can hold them however you want. And he's, like, making poses of, like, him laying on the couch with one of his hands behind his head and like, his other one, like, just sitting somewhere. And so I, like, popped the kickstand out and I set it down on one of the counters in the kitchen. And I'm like, yeah. And I put my hands down in the controller form, but they're separate. And they're like, oh, you just went to, like, the natural position. I'm like, shut up. And I honestly, it's like, a lot of people say that's what they like, is your hands can go anywhere. But I feel like in a game where you need to press a lot of buttons, it's hard to, like, do that when you can't, like, let go of the controller to kind of, like, reach or, do something.
You kind of need that muscle memory of, like, this is the way my hands...
Well, it's also the fact that, like, the resistance, like, you push in here, like, if your hands are here and you push like that, it's going to be, like...
Yeah, and it's harder, like, sometimes if my hands aren't in the proper position and I need to quickly hit, like, a shoulder button or something, that, like, it's not as easy, so I just slide it into the little controller thing that comes with it now.
Yeah, now there's also, because it's also the fact, like, for example, like a joystick, like, I remember back when the Wii first came out, and then the joystick thing, like, it was kind of a pain using it.
Yeah.
Because it was just reaching with your thumb, rather than when it's in a set area and you kind of, like, reach down with your thumb and you have, like, full 360-degree motion.
Yeah, it's more, like...
Stability is...
Yep.
Yeah. And that's kind of like, I don't know, because, like, when it's on the Switch, like, you get used to it real quick. It doesn't feel bad, but your hands are really far apart because the screen's in the middle. So when you have the controller actually like a controller, you put the Joy-Cons in the little controller mount, it feels real natural, and that feels nice. I don't know, there's only one great game out for it right now, which is Breath of the Wild.
Well, they said
Mario Kart. No Puyo Puyo Tetris, obviously.
They said the same thing about the PS4, though, with Bloodborne, if you remember. It was like, Bloodborne's the only game for the PS4. Which, I mean, for a time, it was pretty much true. It was the only good game for the PS4, but now it's great.
For a small amount of time for every console, there's only ever going to be, like, a few games on it.
Yeah, but it's more...
And then time happens.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, if you look at the PS2, even, like, when it first came out, there was at least, like, 24 games. Like, a lot of these games are supposed to come out, like, rolled out with new games.
Yeah.
The problem was, though, that I heard that they didn't give out developer copies of the console.
A lot of things aren't doing that. Like, PS4 didn't do it. The Wii, or the Switch, it didn't do it. I mean, Xbox does it because Xbox, what they do is they simply buy out companies basically going, hey, you're making an exclusive. Here's your shit. Make us a game. Better make it on time, otherwise we're going to get pissed, so you're going to have to make a shoddy quality product. But then again, Microsoft also just piggybacks off the computer market because they have a lot of games that you can have computer and
Yeah,
Xbox.
with their Windows 10, Xbox One compatibility bull crap that I don't want.
That's the only reason why Xbox squeaked by without being noticed as having a console with only one game, is because their whole computer thing. Didn't matter anyway, because I mean, honestly, that would, even if they had that problem, that would have been the least of their problems, considering the fiasco that was the Xbox One's release.
Yeah,
Considering
pre-release.
Yeah, considering they were about to have like the fan base like come down and personally burn down headquarters.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know, like the Switch, there's a lot of promise to it. I mean, I haven't checked up on it recently, but before it released, there was a lot of promised third-party publisher support, like big names, Bethesda, et cetera, et cetera. So that looks nice. My roommate tells me they're doing a Skyrim for it, which she's like, "Oh, I can't wait to play that on it."
It's going to be Skyrim.
Yeah, that's like, okay, it's
Skyrim.
Skyrim.
Another Skyrim.
Yeah,
And he's already beaten the crap out of Skyrim on the Xbox One, so what's the point?
Yeah, like I've beaten it. Okay, I
can take it places. I can play it in the park. I can no.
I can
I'm
play
not
it at parties because I'm an antisocial packet. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like I played Skyrim on the computer and the PS3, and the reason why I switched to computer is because the PS3 has the problem where it's got that data error, where it gets the save file will get bigger and bigger to the point where the game starts to lag unless you reset the cache. In which case, then you're getting to a point where you have to reset the cache every time you enter a new instance. So you have to restart the whole game, so it doesn't really work. So in a sense, I'm the kind of person who plays like super long term, where I get like level 70 and like get a whole bunch of like I collect every unique item stored in my house and get the crap tons of gold bars and all that gold that I roll around in, and it's great.
You even got a mod for the PC where you can make money piles just so you could run around on them and get into the rafters.
Another reason for computers, mods.
Yeah.
Well, they have them for PC now, but that's besides the point. I mean, for
they've always had them.
Should Jesse for
What are you
consoles?
Yeah, PS4 is getting the ability to do mods.
Okay.
I will say though, like, yeah, that's one of the things I was trying to address though, is the fact that I understand people who get a game for console and the same game for PC, because like the PC has mods, but I understand people who like controllers better. Like I like playing Fallout New Vegas with a controller a lot better than with a mouse. I like playing Skyrim with the controller a lot better than the mouse. I mean, a lot of games I like to play with the controller. Like I'm a scrub like that.
Yeah.
But like,
There's some games you
mods.
physically can't.
Yeah.
Go. So that's like a specific
Well,
period. Like
like-
a lot of military simulators, etc.
Yeah, like Arma. God.
Yeah, try fitting 1,000 commands onto a controller.
I still remember my first
Control the size
experience.
of the table.
My first experience with Arma 3 was playing with my friend Noodles, and I ended up.
Shout out.
Shout out Noodles. No one knows who you are besides people who are in our group of friends already,
Hi, Noodles.
and like the 5,000 followers on your Facebook page.
Sup, nudes.
And I did that shout out. Anyone who's gonna look him up is gonna have judgmental opinions of me. Anyway,
Don't they already?
They do. No, but we were playing Arma 3 with Tactical Lolicon server stuff.
Shout out to Tactical Lolicon, don't judge.
Cool people. But they were showing me around, and we got to their base, and they were giving me my starting equipment. And one of the things in that starting bag that Noodles gave me was a tank mine. And idiot that I am, I'm trying to sit there and like scroll through. They're like, "Oh, you scroll through equipment stuff," and I like did something. I hit some button or something, and I put down the tank mine. They're like, "What'd you just do?" I'm like, I think I just put down a mine." They're like, "Don't move," and like ended up blowing us all up. Like, or I'm just gonna, and like we all died horribly, and I'm like laughing. I'm like, "I'm sorry, I told you it would be horrible." Like, because literally before we started, I was like, "Guys, I'm going to be horrible at first. Everything I start, I am terrible at in a hilariously terrible way." They're like, "Oh, you can't be that bad." I literally blew up their base within like 5 seconds of entering it.
Were you immediately asked to join the enemy base?
And they're like, we like
We
your
have
enthusiasm.
medals for you.
No, they brought me back, and we got like the equipment stuff again, and they gave me a really cool looking but shitty like bolt action rifle, like World War II-ish looking.
They give
like,
you your
British
own
rifle.
shack a few miles away from the main base.
No, they basically outfitted me like a World War I British soldier, basically, and I like the motif. I actually like.
They're
that
like,
look.
you can't blow anything up if we don't give you anything explosive.
Yeah, they're also like,
Here's a club.
And they're like, before we have you wasting ammunition on things with like a scope and stuff, you're gonna learn iron sights and learn how to be responsible for your ammunition, because it was like a DayZ type server.
Okay.
So like, yeah, and then they found out my true calling when like, because they're sitting there like I still wasn't very good, and I was just kind of like palling around with them and stuff. Eventually, Dr. Lolicon just like, here, we need to be like, this base is outdated anyway, so like, who cares? So like, he gave me an axe, and he's like, okay, chop down wood, because we need a lot of wood boards for stuff. I'm like, I can do that. And anyone who's played with me on Minecraft knows I did that. To the point where he got back and he's like, Jesus Christ, this is too much wood.
He was like, where's the forest? Where'd it go?
Well, no, the server resets once in a while. And actually, a lot of the wood that I'd gotten the first time was laying on the ground when the server reset, so it all just disappeared, and I was like, damn it. But we ended up making a new base, and I was helped out in setting that up, and that was fun. And, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But no, just that landmine thing. Sorry, Noodles. Yeah.
It was an inside job, Noodles.
It was an inside job.
It was an inside job.
I was sent by the enemy team.
Well, it's like I haven't gotten Arma 3 yet. I mean, I was gonna talk about it a little earlier. Like, I understand the appeal of a console, and now that I don't have a lot of time,
Yeah.
that you can turn it on, press a button, and you're immediately playing a game, rather than turning on your computer, logging into your stuff, checking your messages,
Yeah, that's
doing
why
all this.
I even though I'm a PC gamer technically, because all I play pretty much is the PC, I treat I PC game like someone console games, because I leave my computer on, it's hooked into my TV right there. I'm constantly logged into my Steam. The only time I have to log in is when I have to log Ethan out.
Yes.
To log myself in to
like
play.
right
Yeah, like right now. And then I just click on the games, because I usually have whatever games I'm playing are on my desktop.
It's sad that my computer's more expensive, and I play on yours. I come over here and we'll be hanging out or talking or like getting ready to do this, and I'm like over there playing a game.
Well, one of these days I'm gonna hook up that recording thing. We're actually gonna fucking record us playing games. And
Yeah,
stuff.
who wants to see Tylar flounder at Cook Serve Delicious?
Oh God.
No, we need to. Co-op Cook Serve Delicious.
What's
Co-op.
never going? No, gosh.
I'd be down for that.
The stress is immense.
Nobody knows
you
what
want.
Cook Serve Delicious is. It's you are a restaurant in a hotel.
Oh no.
Or like some like big like skyscraper, and you start off as a 0-star restaurant, and you learn recipes to like make food, and it's like a quick time event. Like a person will come up and they want like fried chicken, and the fried chicken mini game is take the chicken, press a button to bread it, press a button to put it in the deep fryer, and then hold it down until it turns a certain color, and then let it up, and then dish it. Like it's all like button, hold
Or
down, hold down, let go, button, serve.
Yeah, and then there's like for example, there's beer, which is hold down the tap until it's right at the proper amount, and then you let it go. And then there's like wine, which is pick the right type of wine, and then mash A like there's no tomorrow.
Because you have to pop the cork out, or like nachos, which are incredibly complicated.
Yeah, because you have to get the different toppings, and then like salads, which you have to have the different types of stuff, because it's like A or B or left or right, up or down, or like R or L. Because we were using control pads.
Yeah.
Because it works a lot better than a keyboard.
Yeah, because you all the buttons on the controller are used, and you can just flick rather than having to press.
There's a reason why Bop It was a toy rather than a keyboard.
Yeah. E. Spacebar.
Backspace. Passive. Yeah. So, and that game is basically just an overglorified Bop It.
We got into a
bit of a competition.
Well, no, because like Tylar would be up to be the cooker or whatever, and then I would be the person, and there was a legit co-op where you would choose who to like serve dishes to and whatever, and blah 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 blah. But I would sit there, and he would get the dish, and I would read all the crucial components, and then tell him like it's like fish, lemon, no whatever, and he would like know the buttons to do it. He wouldn't have to look at what the person wanted. I tell him what to serve, and then he would just look at the buttons he needed to press.
Actually, towards the end there, why did I even do that? Because whoever was cooking was the one who set the menu. Because that's only fair, because otherwise you're being a dick going like, yes, I will have salads, ice cream, and like soup. And like have the cook want to murder you. Because soup is a nightmare. I remember the first time we got soup, we stopped serving soup.
Yes, nachos are the same way.
Yeah. But yeah.
We survived on, what was it, hot dogs and...
my menu, because I used a specific menu, because Ethan was trying to get like the stuff that was worth more. I was aiming for that like $500 bonus or whatever you get, like $50 to $100 bonus.
For never messing up an order.
When you never mess up an order. So I got hot dogs, beer, wine, fish.
Fish was actually incredibly easy. It's
fish.
Because
you have to cut the fish, which is you have to have up, right, left, and down, and not in any particular order. So you just go circle, and just like whoosh. And then you go like A to put like seasoning on it, or B for a lemon. That's it. So
One whole lemon. Thump.
Yeah.
Well, because then, like, because Tyler was going for the easy things that you could do fast, like beer is
Yep.
one thing. Soda, when you buy the upgrades for soda, gets
God.
complicated. You
'Cause
didn't
like-
think soda could get complicated, because you have options where it's like, oh, I want a cola, or I want a this, or I want a that, and then it starts adding ice, and then it starts adding flavor blasts, and then it starts adding caffeine boosts.
And there's
like,
also 4 different sizes.
yeah, so like we had the person with the large, the extra large diet cola with a flavor boost, where it's like you shouldn't be drinking that.
You know, it's a very stressful game. Like, we were good at it when Ethan was in charge of like orders and I was in charge of cooking. Like, I wasn't as good at the calling out orders. I don't want to be as patting on myself in the back to say that Ethan wasn't as good as me at cooking, but I suspect.
I chose harder dishes because I wanted to be a legitimate restaurant. Also, at the time, I was working at a Taco John's. So I'm like, nachos, tacos, like.
You know, so
You wanted to work while you were at home.
yeah.
Well, that's what most games are nowadays. So.
What I found hilarious with the whole situation is we were like a 3-star restaurant before they finally went, okay, you can't keep serving corn dogs, and I was like, fine, you got me. Okay, no corn dogs, you got me. All right, what did I forget? I think I switched over to doing because I had
Ice cream was easy. I know it's because
Yeah,
it was either
yeah.
vanilla chocolate sprinkles or not.
yeah. I went to that's why I went to ice cream. So we had fish, wine, beer, ice cream.
And for a while there, it'd be like 9 a.m. and the guy would come in and he's like, I want a beer.
Yeah. But it's funny, like there's this one lady who looks completely dejected, and we're like, hey Barbara, how's it going?
You need another bottle of wine for you? Here you go. Or
was
like
funny.
the same guy who would always come at night, like the
Yeah.
last guy, and you'd always get like a fucking bottle of beer right at the end of the
Yeah,
night.
he'd always get a mug of beer. But what was funny is the wine thing
poor
though, is
sad
because
man.
at
Here you go.
first the wine didn't seem like it was worth as much because like you only got like a small max of cheap wine, but as you upgraded the wine, all upgrading wine does is actually add a choice. Because at the beginning of the wine thing, is you only have one type of wine in stock, so you just someone's like, I want wine, you just mash A, that's it. And after that, you have to hit sideways and like go to the wine they want. And the thing is like wine is a special property where the different wines have a different price. So someone comes in the morning going like, I want your expensive wine. It's like, and that's $50. There you go.
Yeah.
Eat that, Ethan, with your one salad you'll make in the time I make 3 of those.
Yeah.
So
You think
like,
a salad would be hard, but it is.
yeah.
There's like 13 different options. There's like croutons and seeds and.
I
Oh
just-
no, not croutons.
I just found it very, very telling of the styles of me and Ethan, which means like, what gets the job done?
Yeah, for a long time, it was fried chicken in the beginning.
yeah, no, it was
because it
fried
was literally
chicken.
just bread it and then hold it down until it turns right, and that was Tyler's job at the time as a chicken fryer
Oh.
at the Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. I had to fry the pig too, and I was just imagining like, okay, bread it, hold it down. You just have it in your hand.
No,
Don't-
no, it goes into a
Yeah,
basket.
it's a basket with a handle because you're doing like a
Yeah,
single 12 piece.
I know, but like, I was just imagining like you holding a raw breaded piece of chicken and just like fisting it down into the frying oil and like holding it there as long as you could. Like come up with a skeletal hand, like it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that
Bring
was
me
one of
another
those was
arm.
fried chicken, and I think no, that's what I replaced the hot dogs with because the corn dogs were easy because all you do with corn dogs is you say you want to do it, and you wait a little bit, and then it gets done, and you just press A or B for ketchup or mustard.
Yeah, it's it. You just start it, and then if they don't want anything on it, you just hit send, and it's out. It's out. It's out.
Yeah, so like it was just a hilarious game of like me sitting there like Ethan's like, all right, we're one.
How
stop-
can you minimize things?
Yeah, like I'm sitting there like, 'cause Ethan's like, I want drinks, I want this, and also the best part about all of my items is they were staples, which meant you never had to change them out, and then they never got stale. Ethan's things, if we put them on too many days in a row, you'd have to change them out. Otherwise,
We had
they
to
would stop showing
rotate
up.
between fish and something else, I thought.
It was the fish and the fried chicken at first.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Because fried chicken and fish aren't staples, but like wine and beer are staples, so you can have them on as many days in a row as you
Same
want.
with the corn dogs.
For some reason.
Well, because it's like a corn dog stand in a hotel. It's like, yeah, you know, the 3rd floor, they got corn dogs.
Yeah, go to Jim's place on the 3rd floor. They got great corn dogs.
Side of wine.
It says, yeah. get the best bottle of wine and get yourself a corn dog. They go great together. They fucking Cabernet.
What cheese would you recommend with this wine? Coney Island.
But it was just funny because like we'd be sitting there, and since fish was a dinner item, no one would order it for dinner. Wine actually, I think I should point out, wine was an afternoon delight item. So was the beer, and so no one would order them. So when I had the corn dogs, people only got corn dogs in the morning. And then eventually when it boiled down to it, towards the end when I had the fried chicken thing, it got to a point where people were only ordering, like, beer and wine in the mornings.
Yeah, everything was a specialized item for, like, night or, like, dinner rushes and lunch rushes. Mm-hmm. So it would literally, I'm just serving alcohol throughout the day. Oh, here's the lunch rush. Now it's alcohol and fish. Oh, it's dinner time. Now it's alcohol and the rest of the menu.
Yeah, it was always funny. We're sitting there, it's like, we're basically a pub. We're a 3-star pub.
I mean, that's not bad. That's pretty good.
I mean, yeah.
But it was just, because we're getting towards the end there, it was just, like, really dumb. We're sitting there, I'm like...
It got to the point where it was, like, each day was, like, stressful, and we'd have to take a break.
Yeah, like, we're
like,
sitting
we'd
there
come
like,
out sweating, like... And it's not because we're fat.
Yeah, like, I'm definitely not fat.
Hey, you fucking tubby as shit.
All 131 pounds of me.
31 kilograms.
What?
131 kilos of Tylar.
131 stones.
Smuggled across the Mexican border. Smuggled across the Japanese border.
But yeah, so Cook Serve Delicious was a fun game, but at the same time, like, Ethan kept being like, "We gotta play it." I'm like, "No, I just can't. I can't get the energy."
It's the PTSD you have from it. We just need to start over.
We need to get new controllers as well, because those controllers are shit now.
You need to. You're never gonna do
nasty glow.
You know what we need to play, Jesse?
What do we need to play, Tyler?
We need to have Ethan play with us in Mario Party.
Oh no.
I just
No,
don't like
Ethan,
Mario Party.
you don't understand.
I know.
You'll understand when we play. Mario Party 1 is not like these new Mario Parties where it's like, hey, you know, like everyone's
We're all together. No, I've played original Mario Party, and
It is
I'm telling
brutal.
you, I don't want to play it.
No, it's brutal.
I know, that's why.
Real men come out on top and can't feel the palm of their hand unless it's pain.
I'm waiting for, like, I know they got, for the Switch, they have 1-2 Switch, but I'm waiting for, like, a legit WarioWare game.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be fun.
Or Rhythm Heaven, or whatever. That
Oh,
was.
God, you can do, like, you got the Joy-Cons, and you can do motion stuff. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
There's, what's that? You know, it was Rhythm Heaven, wasn't the one, or the WarioWare-like game that was...
For the Switch?
No, it was for, like, the DS or something. I think it was for the Wii as well.
Yeah, they had one for the Wii. There was a WarioWare game for the Wii.
You know what I'm saying, but it wasn't WarioWare. It was, I think it was called Rhythm Heaven, is what it was called.
Oh, yeah, for the DS, yeah, where you use the stylus to...
Yeah, it was like, yeah.
Yeah. Where Osu kind of gets a lot
of
of
It's the one where the wrestling...
Yeah.
Deska comes from. Yeah, that game, where that weird Toho version comes from, that abomination. Oh.
Yes.
Great video. I should probably link that in an annotation. Alright, is anything else we want to talk about today, guys?
I don't think so.
Alright, that's it? Alright. Well, we'll wrap it up early. That's fine.
Okay.
Less for everyone to pay attention to. And I will be working on trying to get graphics in the future. And potentially you will see our charming faces
We're sorry.
in one of the future episodes. We will be working on that. Right now we're working on our, talking ability.
Mm-hmm.
And trying not to bore you all to death. Alright. Well, have a good day, y'all.
Dicks.
Bye.
Bye.